Hello folks, I wanted to make a quick and dirty video basically explaining this really cool tool I found that has been really speeding up my development, and I think it can help you guys too. So basically, this is a tool called Conductor, and I'm not sponsored here, I just really enjoy the product. So within Conductor, the idea how it works is it creates multiple different, branches. The technical term is work trees, but the gist is it'll just create multiple copies of your code base within each workspace, as it's called. So here I just click the plus button for my home lab project, and that'll create a new workspace. And within here I have a plugin called Superpowers installed. um, so what this allows you to do is, um, the main use of this, and I'll show how to install it in the description, but the main use case is you can brainstorm with the agent prior to it implementing, and that has made all the difference for me. So like I can say like I want to build to implement Minecraft or add Minecraft to my home lab, right? So while this is running, I go to, let's say, like this other project I'm working on, like this is my mobile agent to automate dating. So like I can create a new workspace, and I can say like, uh, make Bumble open and Tinder open automatically on launch, or something like that, right? So this is running. So the point is, while one agent is waiting, the other one is running, and we're good. And what's happening here is you can see the brainstorming skill has been activated. So what's going to happen is I'm going to be asked different questions now. We'll wait for this one of these to complete, but I don't even have to wait. I'll just create as many of these as possible, right? So, um, yeah. So I have basically a list of ideas, and I'm trying to put them out there in the world and tweet about them, right? So I can also like open here in this editor called Zed, which I really enjoy. It's just like clean and fast, written in Rust, right? Um, One other tool I can show. Okay, this is my Grafana dashboard, but um, I found this tool called Postis to be very useful. So what I'm trying to do here is it's like agentic social media marketing, right? So I have every morning I'll have like Claude Code um, make a post for me on X and LinkedIn. So that's pretty useful, and it helps me learn in public. So I just wanted to like just put this out there, and I can make more videos about this stuff in the future. But yeah, basically, see this one finished cooking, as they say, and he said I've explored the code base. Here's some questions for you, right? And that's where the brainstorming skill comes into play. So it'll ask me different questions. Do you already have it ready, etc. And this is better than the planning mode, because the planning mode just like gives you a plan, and then you can like execute it, which is useful. But this is more like a better interrogation. And then at the end, what it's supposed to do is do what's called sub-agent driven development, where rather than bloating up the context of the main chat, it will create a bunch of sub-agents and run them in parallel, each taking up one little task. So if you see, there's task IDs here, so it'll take up one task, and then each will have its own context, and then it'll complete, and then you can just like click on like create PR in the upper right here, and then like that's it, and then you can just like archive it. So now there's see, this is useful for what I would call like full vibe coding. You can also look at the code, right? So you can like go here, changes, and then like look at the code. But I mean, so like look here, like 1,000 lines written here, 1.4K written here. So okay, like basically we have tools now like for AI code reviews, such as Greptile is a cool one, CodeRabbit is a cool one. Basically, the point is it'll add comments to your code. But in practice, this is like kind of just cumbersome, right? Like what most people do is they will like a comment will show up on GitHub. You click the button and then it'll be fixed by the AI, and then you like reiterate. But like you still lose all the context, right? And that's where I think like a debugger is useful. So a debugger allows you to actually stop in a line of code and actually step through it yourself. But if you haven't written the code, you don't know which lines to stop on, and that's why I'm working on human code. That's one of the features. If I can show this here, so if I can show this, if I open human code, which is kind of there's another project called Open Code, which is a open source version of Claude Code, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. It's an agent harness which allows you to ask anything and have it coded, right? So I have many different modes here now, but the idea is I'm following up in if my nice blog post here, how and when to use AI. This is my philosophy of that. So my philosophy is we have 4 modes of automation now. We have starting with like hands off the wheel, which is like kind of what's happening with tools like Conductor, where you just kind of like let it rip, right? It's fully automated. Same thing with vibe coding. You don't really look at the code. This is great for if you're a startup founder, you just want to ship. But of course, there's security problems. You don't know whether the code is high quality. There's probably bugs riddled everywhere, and you just have to keep spamming and just say, oh, make no mistakes, please. And that doesn't work because you're just going to get to a point where you're desperate and you're going to hit a limit of the AI model, and you have to wait for a new AI model to come out, and that's no way to live, really. So we have like agentic engineering or context engineering, where you give different snippets of context. The AI still writes all the code, but you review it and you review each line. And that for that, I built this thing called human code, where you have claw mode, which I mentioned. You have vibe mode, which is like the same idea but with extensive QA. I have debug mode, which will literally place a debug pointer into the lines of the code where there's an issue or where you want to debug, and it'll step through the code line by line for you there within your favorite editor. So that I found useful. And pair mode, which it will use the Socratic method. So what that is you ask it a question, you ask the model a question, and then it will ask you a question back saying, what do you know about this? And then it will suggest different variations in different architectures, but you still go in and like you do a bit of the stuff itself. The model does a bit of the stuff itself. Actually, I think that'll be pretty useful. So, and then finally we have adaptive mode, which, let's say you don't know which one of these modes to pick. Adaptive mode, based on your task, will guide you into using the correct or suggest an agent to use. So, like for certain tasks, like I can say, like write me a function which adds 2 numbers together. It's a trivial task or something. That is probably good with like vibe mode, right? Whereas if it's a task like I'm working on a meeting notes app and I'm trying to cache results of a meeting bot or something crazy, or I don't know, something, or I'm building a rocket ship that wants to go to Mars. All right, so that there we need a little more, pairing and human expertise and deep expertise there. That's where the pair mode is. And I think that's what's missing from a lot of these agents like Claude Code, where they're just trying to automate everything. And in many cases, it's super useful. You can use tools like Conductor. But in practice, you just kind of lose ownership over your code. And that's what I'm trying to work on, kind of finding some alternatives to that world where we're working. It's more of a dance. So that's hopefully these tools will help. I'll make more detailed videos about each of these. And yeah, hope it was a good ride. Thanks, folks.